Hello, I am Chelsea Poe, and welcome to the Performers Pod. This is a place for performers to talk about our industry in a real way that we usually aren't given in the press. Today's guest is Argentinian queer porn performer and one of my favorite people, María Riot. If you want to support the podcast, we've done about 6 or 7 episodes so far. You can become a monthly member of my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Chelsea Poe. So today, María Riot and I talk about getting started as cam girls, shooting porn in the Netherlands, art porn, and so much more. I really hope you enjoy this conversation we had together. Welcome to the Performers Pod. I am with María Riot, who I think is so cool. Your porn is the first porn I've ever seen screening in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, I met you.
I didn't know.
Hey, I met you and Poppy Sanchez the first night I went to Berlin, and I only I went to the UK once or twice before that. But yeah, you guys invited me to the screening you guys had that night, and it was so cool. And I also just really love the work that you've done for Four Chambers and stuff. And yeah, I feel like you make really cool art porn. And then I also found out that you got your start also as a cam girl. So I'm just oh, I really want to talk to you. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into porn and where you're from?
Yes. Well, first, thanks for inviting me to be here. I admire you since my first contact with porn, so I'm really excited. So yes, I am a sex worker working in pornography, prostitution, and online sex work for more than 8 years now. And I am from Argentina, but based in Barcelona. And I'm also a sex workers' rights activist. And well, I started doing porn, with webcam shows. So it was a long way until I am here now.
Yeah, what was did you shoot any porn in Argentina, or were you just camming in Argentina?
There is actually really no industry in Argentina. There is only 2 men directing porn, and I don't like it at all, what they're doing. I respect them because they're brave for doing porn in a country where there is no porn industry, but at the same time, their values and their aesthetics and everything, they are not correlated with what I want doing porn. So when I started discovering sex work, that was through Tumblr.
Yeah.
I'm such a millennial.
Tumblr was such a big thing for me too. It was
yeah,
there was so much porn there.
Yeah, and also finding porn next to random things, like a photo of food, and then the photo of a river, and then a rainbow and clothes and cats. I don't know, it was something else, and that's it. Because that's sex. It's something else in life, in our lives. It's not something that has to be hidden, clandestine. So for me, finding this when I was a teenager was so important, because all the education I had in my life, it was that I had to be ashamed of sex. I had to be scared or even feeling guilty of it. So finding sex next to random things, the regular things we don't feel ashamed by, it was really like a revelation. So I found sex workers there, and I found a sex worker doing webcam shows. So I got really interested because I was already doing some sort of webcam shows, but for free. So I was I was like, I'm doing this for free just because I'm a horny teenager.
Yeah,
I need to start.
How old were you when you first started?
I think I was 18. I was 18.
Same.
So I was like, I need to start charging for this. It's I don't know if you had this revelation, what are you
Yeah,
thinking? Like, you're doing this for free and some people are charging. You need to start, putting your shit together.
yeah.
At that time, yeah, it was like also, for me, it was so fun and I had so much curiosity about sex. So for me, it was really like a perfect job.
Mhm,
Um, at the same time, I came from like a barrio, like a little city,
mhm.
where the internet connection was really bad and it was a bit precarious. So I couldn't do webcam shows there. And also, I was really afraid of my family finding out. So I started working
Were you
for,
were you camming at home?
at the beginning, I wanted, when I was doing this like for fun and because I was horny, yes,
Yeah,
just
same.
at night, like randomly. But then for work, it was like, where I do this, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to hide myself. So I
Mhm.
found that someone that I knew was doing it, but in an office. So
Hmm.
there was like a studio of webcam girls. So yeah, I started working there like some weeks after I found this girl on Tumblr. And well, it was not that good as I
Mhm.
expected, the money I was earning and everything, but it opened to a new world to me where I felt for the first time in my life comfortable with my sexuality. Because not only because of my identity or my sexual orientation of everything for me was really complicated because I always felt ashamed. I
Mhm.
was bullied. Then when I come out as a bisexual woman, I got also not supported at all. I got shamed. So I had some insecurities. And when I put myself naked in front of the camera and I had people admiring me and saying how hot I was and paying for it, it was like, wow. So my body is okay, actually. My
Yeah.
sexuality, it is not wrong. I
Mhm.
can say I like girls because we were doing shows together with these girls, and I'm not getting shame for this. So it opened to me like a different dimension.
So you were getting that like that fulfilling thing just from camming even. So
Yes.
that was before your porn career even. So how long were you camming before you took the jump to porn?
I was coming for 1 year and a half, and then I started doing escort services because I
Mhm.
wanted to move from Buenos Aires, and the only way to get money fast it was actually doing prostitution because I wanted to move to Spain, where I had some friends living, and they were telling me all the time that the quality of life was better, that they were more free in their sexuality, that there was some more interesting opportunities for me, and that they were paying better.
Mhm.
So my life in Buenos Aires was a mess. I didn't have money. I didn't have anything to lose, to be honest. I was living with my family. I didn't like it. I loved my family, but living with them was really complex. And I was trying to study fashion design and music, but at the same time, I was doing two jobs at the time, and I couldn't handle it. It was too much. It was not that I was born in a rich family that just gave me money for
Mhm.
being an artist. That was like what I wanted, but it was not happening. So I
Yeah.
just say, fuck everything, and I just did escort services like for the first time, and in 2 months I had the money and I flew to Spain with the idea of moving there. But then all the problems with the papers and everything, it got too complicated, so I had to come back to Argentina. But this first travel there, this first trip there, it changed my life because I contacted to some companies, to Abby Winters actually,
Mhm.
and then to Poppy Sanchez, that they were starting shooting. And yeah, I did my first movies. I did like 7 or 8 movies in a month. So it was like I
Wow.
started wild. Yes.
That's so cool. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that feeling of feeling like you have to like move to a different place to like feel like you can actually be like sexually liberated and where all the jobs are. I'm from a really small town in Michigan that like very conservative.
Hmm.
Um, It's like if you imagine the Netherlands, but very, very conservative instead of being liberal and like pro sex worker. That's kind of
Mhm.
where I'm from. So for me, it was always just like, okay, I need to fly to San Francisco every like 3 months. And then it's like, okay, I have to do this. I can
Yes.
definitely relate to that.
Sometimes I worry about, yeah, gentrification and all this bullshit that, like, yeah, we are queer, we are this, and but
Mhm.
then yes, we are also like part of the bullshit. I mean, we do all shit, but at the same time, it's like to create porn in places that where are so conservative or where there's nothing. It's too complicated. It's
Yeah, it's
like
very
even
hard.
impossible. So what we have to do, like I had this like complexity and like question of what is good or what is like if I'm doing something wrong or, but at the same time it's like the desire you have to do something to change the representation of sex and everything, and then maybe to come back to where you are from
Mhm.
and do it there. For me it's one of my goals to shoot porn in Argentina and to change also that there is nothing in Latin America, or there are, but it's really few productions. So it is like, yeah, I'm going to Europe. So it was like a complex decision to make. Like, yeah, you are flying to Europe to do like independent porn. What are you doing with your life? But at the same time, I had this desire inside me that it was telling me it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like you, especially I think with camming, like you build up this performance thing where you know that if you go to set, you're gonna be able to perform. Where I feel like a lot of performers who I've talked to on this, there's so much feelings of like mixed, like I don't know if I can do this. Where I feel like with camming, it almost, at least for me, it really feels like it sets you up to be able to be a performer and be able to be like,
Mhm.
okay, I can get on this flight that's across the world or across the country
Yes.
and be like, yeah, I think I can handle this.
Totally, because you are performing, but it's through a camera. Nobody is touching you. You are talking with strangers. Sometimes you don't even see the faces. And actually, for me, I even got my name in this studio. Like the boss, say like, okay, I create a username for you, and it's Maria. Uh, so I was like, okay, you're creating already my porn persona. Then I put myself the Riot because he chose like the worst name. It was like I think Maria Niels or something like that, like the worst. So for me, it was like also funny to start creating this alternative me that was more confident, more sexy, more secure of herself. Because in my real life, I was dealing with a lot of trauma, insecurities, not knowing what to do with my life. And then Maria Riot was just really secure. She wanted to do porn. She wanted to quit everything. She didn't have money, but she was going to work for this money and yeah, travel to other continent to shoot porn. And what's about it? Maybe that sounds crazy for others, but not for Maria Riot.
Yeah, you have to like, I feel like once you like adopt a porn name, you almost have this whole other person that you have all this confidence from, especially yeah, I think you started shooting around the same time. Were you like in your late teens, early 20s?
Mhm.
Yeah. So like I feel like you almost have to have that like disconnect of like, oh, that's Chelsea Poe. She can do that. She'll be able to knock this
Yes.
out. But everything before you're like, oh no, I might run into this awful person in my hometown who I went to high school with, or just like all these things, or like, oh yeah, that band I was in sucked or whatever, and people are gonna like talk about it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like there's definitely that thing. I didn't know that your name wasn't fully yours. That's really interesting.
Yes, yeah, because I am really bad with names actually, and I was thinking in other names, and then it was just so simple and so also so virginal. And I went to a nun school, so for me it was really funny to have these like two like different words, like coming from this background. I went to a nun school, and now I'm doing porn. So it's like Maria is the perfect name for me, and then Riot because I always, I mean, I discovered feminism through Riot Girl. So for me, it was
That's so
like just
cool.
a perfect combination.
Yeah, that's like so cool. I love that so much. That's almost cooler in a way that like you have this whole backstory to it. 'Cause I feel like so many people are just like, oh, I just chose my name.
Yes. You took a lot of time to think of your name, or it was easy?
It took a minute. Like I knew I was in high school and stuff. Whenever I had to write about any writers, I always write about Edgar Allan Poe because I'm always like I was a little like goth kid. Like I was played in black metal bands when I was young. So
Nice.
I was like, yeah, I love that. And then Sasha Gray's character in the girlfriend experiences, escort name is Chelsea. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And
Wow,
then,
cool.
yeah. And then ever since moving out to California, essentially, I was like, I'm gonna go full in on this. I'm just gonna be Chelsea all the time. So only people
Nice.
back home call me my, I guess, legal name. But yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like you almost have to have that like mindset. But I also feel like there's a disconnect when you do go on a like long flight and it's your first shoot. It's like it feels like it's almost like a vacation in a way where you have these things planned, where it almost doesn't feel like it's your usual life.
Mhm.
Did you feel
Yes.
that?
Yes, I felt that a lot. For example, when I traveled to Spain, I actually almost got deported because I was too young, and they saw I didn't have money, and that I was just like a bit insecure, and they were like, "Okay, you are going to the police." And I was already like decided I'm coming to Europe to shoot porn. I'm secure. I am Maria Riot now, so I remember fighting for it.
Was that your first time coming to Europe?
No, I actually have came once before, but like a family trip that my dad like saved money for years for this. And when they got divorced with my mom, it was like our last moment together or something like
Oh,
that. So it was good, but a bit sad.
but
So
your first
we
time to shoot porn, though, you almost got detained.
Yeah, I mean, my first trip
Wow.
alone, it was when I was in the airport. They wanted me to come back to Argentina, so they were not allowing me to go to Spain. I had to be in the police for 2 hours, and this happened to me 3 times because when
Oh
you don't
my
have an
God.
European passport, it's a bit complicated sometimes. And because for me, like you have to show that you have a lot of money, and the
Mhm.
first time I went with only 500 euros. For me, it was like a lot of money, but it was
Yeah,
not
I'm
that
like, it's a lot.
much. Yes, they were like, no, you need like thousands. And I was like, okay, but I'm staying with a friend. Like I was really naive, to be honest. And then I found out that no, you had to have like an hostel reservation, like an address, where are you staying. You need to prove that you are not staying illegally there.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was not doing it, but it looks like I had like also colorful hair. I was really lost. I don't know. They were like, you are not coming. So yeah, everything was really intense at that time. But luckily I made it. I came to Madrid, and there I stayed for some weeks, and then I had the interview with Abby Winters, and they said, okay, we're paying your flight to Amsterdam, and we had like 5 shootings for you in a week. So I was
Wow.
like,
That's
okay.
what was that like going like that hard in?
It was, for me, it was really intense, but for me, it was also like the first time in my life getting paid good for my work.
Mhm.
I was making so much shitty shows before, and getting so low, so exploitative shows, that then yeah, I came back home with so many euros. I was rich, and I didn't work for 3 months because also in
Wow.
Argentina, the euros are like a lot of money. It's
Yeah.
like the change is a lot. And for me, it was really powerful because, yeah, even if you are anti capitalist, you know how much power money gives you, and how much money can change your vulnerability. And for me, I was really vulnerable depending on almost my friends and the coach they were giving to sleep to me. So when I came back from the shootings with a lot of money, feeling good that I did a good job, that I enjoyed the performance, that I had sex, and it looked good on camera, that I had fun, that they were treating me good, that I knew Amsterdam, that I always wanted to go. For me, it was a crazy week. And because I was in Amsterdam, I went then to Den Haag, where
Mhm.
Poppy Sanchez were living at that time. So I shoot with her also 2 other movies in a day. So yeah, my start was really intense, but at the same time, I was so excited. I was never tired. I always wanted more.
I also feel like Amsterdam is like one of the best places to do sex work because it's like all around everywhere. And I just love like the atmosphere of it because it feels so normalized there that like whenever I
Mhm.
come back to the States, I'm always just like, oh, I feel like my boundaries are so much higher with cam clients, just kind of everything because it's just so normalized. That's so
Yeah,
cool that
I
like
mean
one of your that's just
yes,
so
the
cool that
legal,
one of your first places was to shoot there and to
yes.
shoot so much in such a
Yeah.
short period of time.
Yeah, I'm really privileged, to be honest, and I'm really lucky to have started there. And yeah, totally. Even if the regulation there of sex work, it has a lot of shit. The good thing is that it's more normalized,
Yeah.
so you don't feel so shame or persecuted as in other countries like the United States, where it's so criminalized. You go to jail for doing prostitution.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
really different.
even with this podcast, I think I launched it 2 weeks ago now. When we record this, so they already took away the payment processor from this because of
Wow.
vague foreign things, and they still haven't really gotten back to me. So like in the United States, I feel like it's just every corner they're just waiting to get you, even if you're doing legal sex work. And yeah, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing with the Netherlands is just like that. It's like there's bad things about it and like how they basically hung sex workers out to dry during the whole pandemic is really
Mm-hmm.
fucked up. But there's at least this like thought process of like, oh, it's not completely criminalized. Is I feel like in so many
Yes.
other places it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I was there, and there was a clinic for sex workers where they were not judging me for being a sex
Mm-hmm.
worker. Here in Spain, some months ago, I went to a doctor, and when I told her I was a sex worker, she looked at me disgusted and say, "What the fuck? Why you are that?" So it was so different for me to be treated with respect by a doctor, that the fear you get sometimes to go to access like like health
Yeah.
services. So for me, yeah, it was a good start to be there. And I actually found Abby Winters and everything because in Tumblr and looking for porn in Google, I found Amarna Miller, I found Courtney Travel, I found you, I found
Oh,
a lot of other performers that were doing like artistic queer porn and talking about it too, because before I had found performers doing porn, but they were not really like loud about it, let's say. Like
mhm.
they were not talking about doing porn, they were just doing it, what is amazing. But for me it was really interesting, like the intellectual part, like the part of why they're doing it, what's happening behind the scenes. And I remember Amarna had a blog about it where she was telling about the productions, what she did, what happened. So to read this not by a journalist, but by the sex worker herself, for me it was really crazy. And I found all this porn also not only by Tumblr, but for example in the Rolling Stone I found an interview to Sasha Grey, and then I
Yeah,
found
that
Soya. So my first approach with porn was really cool. I never had like yeah, like okay, the first thing I see is mainstream porn, and then I found the porn that is more artistic, independent. No, I found already all of this with Tumblr and the magazine I was reading. So for me, it was seeing all of this and saying, I want to be part of this because I
yeah.
love sex, I love art. It is a combination. I want to do it. This is
Yeah.
like the thing I was waiting for.
Yeah, I feel like that Sasha Grey article was so like big at the time too. Because like the first like two lines are being like, comparing her to Taylor Swift, who was also the same age at the time, and being like, yeah, they're basically doing the same things in their industry. And I feel like for them to like compare a pop star and a porn star felt so like big at the time, where it was like, oh wow, you can actually do more in porn than just be like, you know, kind of within the industry. Like for me, seeing like Sasha Grey and Soya do so many things and be so outspoken, like that's definitely what spoke to me as well, where it's just like, whoa, you can like write things, you can like make music, you can do all these other things other than just shoot porn, and you can like be outspoken and shoot the most extreme gangbangs you want. Like,
yes.
that,
And
that
I
was so
think
cool.
it's also good that if you only do porn and you are just like a sex symbol, but for me to also find out that they were like pop culture icons, that they were like not that stigmatized. And I don't know, Sasha Grey with Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth in photos was like, what the fuck? Like the bands I love, they are supporting a porn star, like things like that that make you feel not so ashamed of the profession you're choosing, because there is so much bullshit about what we do, that it's this feeling that we have to show all the time we're intellectual, we are this, we are that, we do something else. And with them it was interesting because they were showing all of this, but they also were fucking like in a gangbang and having sex and being really dirty. So for me it was like the perfect combination.
Yeah, 100% on the same page here. Yeah, like, yeah, actually I found out about Sasha Grey through a band I was really into at the time too. So then it was like, I found out they were hanging out with a porn star, and I was like, oh, I bet it's gonna be super softcore. And then I saw one of her gangbangs, I'm like, holy shit, this girl's amazing. She's like screaming at the guys in the gangbang, and then like the next day, like talking about like philosophy with Vice and stuff. It's just such a cool thing that I feel like that era of like alt porn brought so many people into porn who probably weren't going to be
Yes.
really interested in it.
Yeah, it
Like,
was a cultural change.
for sure. Um, is that like your main influences, do you think? Like the whole alt wave of porn, like Stoya, Sasha Grey, that sort of thing?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And also uh like the sex scenes from random movies, like not porn movies. For me it was like this eroticism, seeing it in movies, and like it was like an awakening of, this is so beautiful, this is aesthetically beautiful, why we can't appreciate the beauty of sex, but also the disgusting part of sex that I love also in a beautiful way. Why my parents, every time there was a kiss or a sex scene in the TV, they were like running to change it.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, when I found all this amazing stuff out there, it was mind blowing for me. It was opening my eyes a lot. And when I started working for amazing directors and companies, I felt like, okay, I'm part of what I love. I'm part of all these things I like, and at the same time, I'm also working. And sometimes I don't enjoy it so much. So it was like a complex relationship with porn, because I started also realizing that that not always passion is mandatory, or that not always you love what you're doing in the shootings, or that sometimes you don't want to work with a company anymore because they are annoying, but they pay good, so you still work with them. So porn is my work, but it's also what I'm passionate about most of the time. But I also feel that sex work itself saved my life, because I always deal with mental health problems, and dealing with normal shows 8 hours a day or more, it was impossible for me. And sex work, it was like so like such a relief. Like sometimes I made 2 shootings a month, and then I could just try to recover from what I was going through, or just dedicate myself to therapy. And this is not happening with other shows for people that we don't have access to, like the high economical shows that some people have, or some resources we don't have, no? So I think sex work for more marginalized people, or people that we live in like more complex situations, it's really life-changing. I don't like to romanticize it, but at the same time, I don't know what I would do without sex work.
I can totally understand that. I feel like I see a lot of connections between athletes and sex workers, because I feel like for a lot of people, this can be their ticket out of a really bad situation, whether it's being in a marginalized group, whether it's being in poverty. Like, I don't know at all where I'd be right now without sex work, because I literally couldn't get any jobs where I was because it was so conservative as a trans person. Like, I don't know. I'd probably still be in some bad band somewhere. Like, I'd probably be doing that right now. You said you were involved in music. That's actually come up a lot in this podcast. There's a lot of people who were in music before. What were you doing before you got into porn and music?
Well, when I was 15, I was singing in a really bad punk band.
Very relatable.
Yes, like really bad. And we were doing covers of unknown bands saying that they were our songs.
Oh my God, you were that band. Oh my God.
But we were teenagers, we were 15. Like, we were playing like in little venues, nobody knew us. It was so funny. So that stayed in my teenager years. But I stopped doing it because I mean, this is a bit dramatic, but once we upload a video on YouTube, and I got a comment saying the singer wins the band. And for me, it was so I was so traumatized about the bullying I received when I was a kid. I quit. And it sounds like really exaggerated, but no, I thought, no, this is not for me. They are good musicians and I'm shit. And I didn't have this thing like, no, I need to progress. For me, the trauma I had for being a kid and being told a lot of shit in the school, it made me like, I read this and nothing matters anymore. They were right. I need to quit. And I'm a failure with music. And at that time we were doing it like something fun. And then I tried again. I was in a band playing the synths and doing chorus. Already just doing sex work, but it was like my second year or third year doing sex work. And it was really good. And then I discovered I enjoyed more being like not that principal in a band, like the main person there, like singing. No, I enjoy more being like hiding a bit.
I feel you.
Yeah. So it was really fun. We did it for some months. We even did a gig in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yes, in Europe, in some places in Spain. But we flew from Argentina to here.
That's
so
big band
I
road
was like,
trip.
yes, I was like 4 months in this band. I got the gig. Like, I was so lucky.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, but the problem is that they were paying us with beer or food. I mean, we were not getting paid. So it was impossible to make money. I know some people will say like, no, but if you keep playing, if you keep working, you will get it. But that's easy to say if you have money, or if you have a support system, or your family is giving money while you try to be an artist and one day getting paid. For us, it was impossible. I was like not able to support myself. I don't even drink beer. I was getting paid with water.
Yeah,
I mean, the fun was good, but at the same time, I needed to think how I sustain myself, how I survive. So I had to put music in the side, and I continue doing sex work, and I put all my focus in activism too. So music was just like something I enjoy listening, but I didn't try anymore. At that time I thought, oh yeah, music is not for me. It's something I'm gonna do when I can as a hobby. But it's hard to be an artist if you don't have money.
It really is. I feel like the difference between doing like going on tour for porn and going on tour for band stuff is so different because it's like you're lucky if you get one hotel room for your entire band and you have like 5 or 6 people. And then like it's like always a stressful situation because it's like so many people, or you're all stuck in a van for like 8 hours and you're like so annoyed. Where I feel like porn, it's like you're gonna fly somewhere. It's gonna be maybe like you might be with 2 other people. Everything's fine. You're gonna get a hotel room. It might be 1 or 2 or 3 people. Like everything is so substantially better that I feel
Yes.
like after
Even if it's
shooting,
bad, even if it's bad or it's going wrong, it's not that bad as
yeah,
in the other shows you had
yeah,
before.
100%. I'm like, I don't have to like haul like a 90-pound bass amp anymore. Like it's so much easier just being like, okay, I can just show up on a porn set. I can carry my camera. I can have my computer to edit stuff. It's that easy. It just feels like such a different thing.
What
Do
you
you
were doing in the band?
I played bass.
Nice.
Yeah, I played bass for, yeah, I started like in, yeah, about 15, something like that. And then I was in a band that like toured regionally and stuff. But at some point it was again just like, we're making no money. We're not gonna make money. Even if we get signed to a label, we're gonna be broke as hell for like years. Where I'm like, I'm making money camming at home right now. Why am I continuously like doing this, putting money into like my bass, my amp, all this stuff where I'm just like, it's fun and all, but I feel like you can get the same creative thing out of something that actually pays money.
Yes. Well, I grew up thinking like my dream was being like a pop star, not a porn star, a pop star. But then capitalism killed my dreams. And then I created a new one. And I changed some words in the it's pop instead of it's porn instead of pop. And that's good also.
Yeah, do you think it helped you get like deal with a porn career, like doing music first?
Yes, because I was in stage and I already knew what was to do a performance. Like I was not myself anymore. At that time, I also had another artistic name for my singer persona. Sometimes I get comments of people like, "Oh, I remember you. You are this name." I was like, "Yeah, I know. You know me from since I am 15. That's crazy." Um, so yeah, it's like you go out there, you're not that secure in your everyday life, but there you are doing it, you are secure. So you sing and yeah, I was dealing with a lot of like a big public and all my family, all my friends, like singing our songs and the songs that they were not from us. And it was really fun, and it was I was really secure, and I looked like I was like a leader. And now I think how I was actually doing this with 15-year-old.
Yeah, it's really weird to
So
look back at when you like how young you were when you were doing stuff like that. Like my friends and I were booking shows when we were like, I think he was like 13 and I was like 15. And we were like the only 2 queer promoters, but we were the only one who booked metal and hardcore. So it was like these old like metal and hardcore guys like coming up to like 13-year-old queers being like, where do we load in?
that's so cool. Yeah, I also started getting involved with politics with this band because we got invited. This I was already 16. We got invited to like a feminist event for the legalization of abortion. The crazy thing is the legalization of abortion. It happened in Argentina in December, so it took really long.
Wow.
Yes, so I was 16, and we went. We were invited to play in this concert for the legalization of abortion. And I remember also we had a song against the police. So for me, it was already like being involved in this revelation against these things that I don't like in society, and of course in a really naive way, because we were singing against the police because we got detained for doing graffitis. It was not nothing really crazy, but we were like one night in jail for this. So then we were really angry, like singing as teenagers, and so it was already like a practice. And I think this, and then being a vegan activist, and I was also leading an organization. It helped me to then doing activism related to sex work and porn in a more easier way.
Yeah, I feel like there definitely is that whole just going from music to porn. It feels like it's the same kind of creative thing. Like you're getting paid for like an hour or whatever of work, and then you're traveling, 15, 16 hours for that 1 hour almost. I feel like there's that similar almost build up and come down to it.
Yeah, and you perform and you have like a sort of persona, and some people are fans of you and they think they know you, but it's just a projection. it
Yeah,
has a lot of
100%. Yeah.
similarity.
Yep, a lot of similarity. So, what's your favorite city or place to shoot porn?
Well, I think, well, right now maybe it will be Barcelona because it's where I'm living, so it's easier because then I go back home. But I also love traveling around, so I will say now I'm planning to go to Berlin really soon. So Berlin,
Yeah.
because I'm so cliche saying this, but yeah, there are a lot of friends there and a lot of people doing so amazing stuff that every time I go, we just hang out, and there is like such an amazing energy that I love. But actually, I love traveling around and shooting whatever and doing whatever. I would love to go to shoot porn in the United States. I was there for some months, but for nothing related to porn. I got a fellowship related to biotechnology.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I don't. It was related to my being an activism, and I did only like one little shoot when I was there, but it didn't have time for doing. And yeah, it's one of my goals to go to the United States and do a tour and shoot with all of you and
Yeah.
meet a lot of performers I'm following for like 8 years, and I feel I know them, but I don't know them actually. It's just the internet.
Yeah, it's so hard to, I feel like it's so easy to feel like you know everyone just from like an online persona. But then I feel like when I meet them in real life, I'm like, oh, I don't know who that person is because I only like know their like little image.
But then it's like they tell you something and it's like, yeah, I know. Like I met the other day with a sex worker I love, and we follow each other for a long time. We only saw once, and then it was the second time. And everything we were saying is like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I read that. You say that the other day. It's so funny. Like we are so connected in a way, but at the same time so disconnected because we don't know each other. But yeah, I think that in the United States there are a lot of like good things happening too, like aorta, and now also afterglow, and of course crash pad, pink label, what you are doing, what Courtney Travel is doing for so long, and all the creators now that they are shooting their own porn everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope when things get better to go to the United States. I actually have a fan wanted to pay the flight, so I am waiting that things get better to go there.
Yeah, get that free flight. Hopefully, few months. Hopefully, America's back to like fully normal. I just like,
Yeah.
I trust my city right now. I trust the people here, but everyone else I'm like so distrustful of. I'm like, there's full tourist buses back in SF now. So it's like this whole bizarre thing where there's like people from all over the country who I'm like, I have no idea if you're vaccinated. I don't know. I'm kind of scared, but there's like packed tour buses now. So yeah, but if you ever come to the Bay, definitely. There's so many people making queer porn here. So I'm sure you
Yes.
fit right in.
Yeah, I will let you know, of course.
Yeah. So what are some places you ended up that you didn't really expect to be because of porn?
Definitely Den Haag.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to shoot porn there, and I think every time people were asking me, "Where are you now?" and it was like Den Haag, and they were like, "Why are you there? Like, you are a politician? What is the thing?" But yeah, Poppy at that time was living there because of the show. So we were shooting a lot there, and then I got a sugar daddy that offered me to pay me a house for a month. So we chose Den Haag to be close. And because it was also cheaper than Amsterdam, and there were lakes and things like that. So I was living actually there, and we were shooting porn there for like a while,
Wow.
next to embassies. And then yeah, it was crazy because we were living like actually in a place where politicians were living, and we were shooting porn there. It was really wild. I love it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like it's just there's so many places that porn is made that you just would never expect, I feel like. Because like
Mm-hmm.
when I first got into this, I'm like, okay, it's gonna mostly be in LA, maybe Vegas, maybe like one place in Europe somewhere. I thought it was gonna be so condensed, but really now it feels like you can kind of shoot porn anywhere. Like
Yes.
there's kind of people doing it everywhere. That's kind of what I've learned via
Mm-hmm.
this podcast because it's just like, yeah, just kind of all over. I think
Yes,
that's
we
so
are
cool.
everywhere.
So I have a few more questions for you. Just like two more. I want to take up your whole night because it's starting to get late there. What are some things that you want to do in your career that you haven't done so far?
Directing porn for sure. I only create some videos with friends, and I also, well, I direct my own amateur content. I sell on OnlyFans, but I have some ideas that I want to do mostly in Argentina, because there is actually nobody doing like porn, and there is no women doing porn. It's only these men, and there are lots of sex workers creating. So of course there is porn made everywhere, but it's not the same to make actual productions. And I get lots of questions and like a message of performers or sex workers there, like, when are you doing porn? Like, I want to work for you. And so I have some ideas I want to do there, and I want to start, yeah, like a little company or production, like a more do-it-yourself. I don't have the ambition of being like a girl boss or any bullshit like that, but I want to direct some like cool porn. I don't want to come back to live to Argentina, but to be some months there and shoot will be good, and also to then travel around Latin America, because there are so much amazing places, amazing people that we don't know, just because yeah, everything then in porn is still really European and white
Yeah,
and like
very.
colonized.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's like,
like, yeah, it's all like essentially the United States or like one of three cities in Western Europe.
yes, it's always United States and Europe as like the representation of porn. And also when we talk about independent or queer porn, we always see, yeah, the European like producers,
Mhm.
and or the United States producers. And I think it will be so cool that Latin America is also present. It is already present with a lot of post porn. And I found it so interesting that when we are in festival, it's always really political porn, and that says a lot about us.
Mhm.
But I also want that we are present with like produce and artistic porn, but because I think we can do like really cool stuff.
That's so cool. Yeah, I really hope you do that. I had a chance to go back to my hometown and shoot a movie there. And I feel like it's
Nice.
such a cool experience just to be like, oh, this is where I started everything. And then like getting
Mhm.
people to either come in or have locals who've never really had the opportunity. It's like a
Yeah.
really rewarding experience. It seems like they're starting to become more festivals in Latin America.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one in Chile, and I have the idea of creating one in Buenos Aires. But yeah, the problem is I don't have the money, and then I have to. Well, I was talking for with some people, but then COVID happened, so now it's little by little I'm organizing it. And yeah, I'm coming out of depression, so depression takes out every goal and dream you have. So I'm being compassionate and having patience to do all the things I want to do. But definitely I would love to direct porn in Latin America and do a porn festival in Argentina. That's like one of my dreams.
That would be so cool. I really hope you get a chance to do that. Like,
Thank you.
I just feel like the more porn scenes around the world happen, I think the better, just because I feel like there's gonna be more unique porn. And just as like someone
Yeah.
who genuinely loves the medium, I just like want to see more countries having representation on like a global level with porn.
Yes, also there is so much like conservative and morals related to sexuality now, that we need to be present. And I know when I do this porn festival or when I shoot there are gonna be a lot of rad femmes or people against sex work, like talking bullshit. And I don't care, it's needed. I want them to be angry if they want to be angry, because we are shooting porn. But I think we also need to be present because of this, because we can't allow these people to keep on harming us.
I feel like once you have one shoot in a city, it starts to grow, because then you have the 5 or 6 people you worked with, and then people are like, oh, you've been on a porn set, can we shoot something like that? I feel like that's just kind of how it grows. So I feel like that would be such a cool thing if you get to do that whenever
Yes.
the world is back to normal. Who knows when that's gonna be, but okay, so I have one more question for you. If you could magically change one thing in porn overnight, let's say tomorrow it's totally different, what would it be?
Oh, the war against us, the censorship, that we could exist without so much bullshit that is harming our lives. Like every day we wake up and there is something new. It's like we never can rest. We never can just enjoy if we are making something good or if we're making money in a platform, because we are scared that the next day we wake up and it's not there anymore, or that our Instagram account is deleted. And some people could say, oh, it's just a processor payment, it's just a platform, it's just social media. But no, for us, it's work, it's representation, it's our identity, it's everything. It's like they are deleting who we are. So that will be the thing for sure. Like, I don't have to think.
That's 100% perfect. Yeah, I feel like there's just this whole thing where we're always have some version of like being criminalized, where it's always in the back of your mind that it's always, something's gonna happen. And just like
you
that,
never can relax.
No, you never know. And like, is your bank account going to be taken because they decide your campsite is not someone they want to deal with anymore? There's just so much risk. But I think you nailed that final question so much. Well, I had so much fun talking to you today.
Me too. And I also learned a lot. And I don't know, I admire you a lot. And I hope we work together one day soon.
Yeah, likewise. Whenever we're both back in Berlin or Amsterdam or wherever, I really hope we get to work together. Well, thank you so much again.
Thanks to you. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.